pals and non-binary pals. I am Frida Sapphic.
And I'm Claudia Gabor. And this is Dragopedia.
This week we talk to Gladys Duffy about the pressures of social media, children in drag, and we find out what made Claudia Gabor say this.
That's what she gets for not letting me wear a dress.
And we find out why Frida Sapphic said this.
And I think that's what she means about drag. Yes to that. And we find out why our special guest, Gladys Duffy, said this.
She is the best lip syncer in our city, hands down. She's one of the best winners of Drag Idol, and if you ever have the chance to actually go and see her when she's working, our fucking DJing skills and our hosting skills are fucking top notch. Are we recording? Oh shit, we're recording.
Sorry, pal.
I know it's all right.
I'm gonna go sit beside us.
To look better there. Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Where's my drink in there?
Camp.
Yeah.
Oh, Claudia, I love this polka dot moment.
Isn't it? I've got a waist.
Oh my God, look at you, you're tiny.
Oh my
I know.
god. She's been losing weight. Most
What you've lost, I have found.
I've lost nearly 3 stone. Can you believe that?
Oh my God, congratulations. What's your secret? Exercise or cocaine?
Heartbreak and cocaine.
Both, lovely.
And
Pardon me.
a cat that won't leave her alone.
Yeah.
Are we what, darling?
With a cat that won't leave her alone.
Do you know what? When Ollie's at work, I'd love to have some sort of small, needy, furry animal crawling around the house.
Oh, I know, but I have to send him to work every now and again.
I watched that episode of Black Mirror where the Prime Minister shags a pet. Can I swear on this?
Yes, you can.
Of course you can.
Oh, I watched that episode of Black Mirror where the Prime Minister fucked a pig the other day. And do you know what? You know you're getting lonely when you think, God, I wonder, you know, could I do that? Could I bring myself to do that? And then I was thinking, actually, I would just do it for the crack. Fuck the princess.
Our
Well, yeah, and you always go. You have to get it somewhere.
school made us watch that episode in RE.
You know what? It's really interesting because I would watch. If they announced that Boris was going to fuck a pig, everyone would have it on the telly. Mainly because they've got nothing else to do.
Gladys, that episode came out before the whole thing about David Cameron came out about him.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So clever, isn't it?
Wasn't that insane? We haven't properly introduced you, so.
Oh yeah, shit on it. Do you want me to something like that?
Everyone, our very special guest today, you've already heard her voice. She is one of my favourite people and someone you have heard a lot about already on this podcast because we have mentioned her every single episode, and that's not a lie. Everyone, please welcome to the stage. It is the wonderful, the talented. We're very glad she's here. It is Gladys Duffy.
Never heard of her personally. Never heard of her. Thank you for the clap.
Woo!
Oh, lovely.
Oh, was it me that gave you that?
Oh, Gladys!
Oh, Gladys!
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 No, thank you. You've not told me much about this. I just said, yeah, sure, whatever, because my lovely little pal Frida asked. What's this called?
It's called Dragopedia.
It's called Dragopedia with Claudia and Frida.
Dragopedia?
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is brilliant. That is so well done. Do you know about Tess and Wikipedia? We've been mocking her now for weeks because no offence, right? There's this Tesco from Newcastle. She's bloody brilliant. She couldn't be more on the poverty line if she tried. And yeah, the poor bitch who's got not a fucking penny to rub together went to Wikipedia to read an article and when they asked for money, she went, yeah, go on then. Darling, come on, sort your shit out. She didn't wear a wig cap. Anyway, no, lovely. The Dragopedia sounds delightful. Lovely to be here. So I've been mentioned.
Yeah, every single episode.
God, I dread to think. Is this already published or is this released soon?
No, it'll be released the first week of February.
Oh, excited. I can't wait to listen.
Oh, Cam.
Oh, Cam.
Oh, we're going to be all over.
We're going to
all over. A bit like me right now, all over the place.
Exactly. Gladys, tell us a bit about your drag style.
Oh God. Right, where to begin? On a cold winter's day in the 1800s. No, so Gladys Duffy is a 87-year-old woman. She doesn't look like it much anymore. She's gobby. She's very inherently northern. She's had 14 husbands. She's got 2 kids, one of which she knows about, one of which she doesn't know about. She's an absolute psychopath. If you come and see one of her shows, she will speak over every song that plays the entire evening. She lip syncs, she sings very badly. I use her almost as a mechanism, as a catalyst to receive praise, because there's nothing gay people love more than attention and praise. Do you know what I mean? It's that almost that feeling when you were in year 11 or something and you started coming out at school and you tell a few jokes and you got a bit of attention. It's like that, but on ketamine.
Yeah.
Oh, I like ketamine. It's lovely.
Well, you know what? Then doing drag and ketamine together quadruples to you the feeling.
You are.
That sounds like a proper party, that. Doesn't it?
The Queen of Poppers, Gladys.
The Queen of Poppers. God, I'll tell you something. Have you ever had Amsterdam Square poppers?
No.
No, you see, there's two kinds of poppers. One of them isn't legal to sell in the UK because it's got a different drug in it. We do one with nitrates, and the other one's called something else in. But they come in a square bottle, and when you sniff them, you blow square breaths. I'm not even lying. It's amazing. Next level, dude.
That is iconic. That is brilliant. And Gladys, how did you come up with your name, Gladys Duffy?
Oh, this is like the RuPaul's Drag Race audition all over again. Fuck me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I picked the name Gladys Duffy because it sounds like an old cunt. I was doing the character of Gladys Duffy since I was about like 12, and she used to be called Mildred. And it was just like, because I used to watch Little Britain, I used to thought, oh, it's dead funny when they do them characters. So I came up with characters of my own, and I just knew that old ladies were just the funniest thing in the world to me, because when you see an old lady doing something that an old lady shouldn't be doing,
yeah,
it's brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, old men, whatever, they're going to go out and do whatever. When you see an old woman on a surfboard, you think, what the fuck? Like, that kind of shit. And so, you know, if you think of a go-to old lady name, Gladys, Mildred, Gertrude, that kind, you know what I mean? That sort of realm. And I can't remember where Duffy came from. Actually, Duffy comes from my drama teacher at secondary school, who was originally called Miss Ellis. She got married, she was called Miss Duffy, and we were very close when I played Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh.
Yeah, so Gladys, old stuffy name, Duffy, name of the drama teacher, stick them together and you get unemployable. Cheers, guys.
But we talk all the time about how you're honestly one of our favourite queens on the Newcastle drag scene.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. I mean, I'm not going to be on it much longer. But, oh God, edit that out.
But you are genuinely one of the best queens on Newcastle drag scene. You are very entertaining, very funny. You're mean, but not mean in the sense that you're shady, but you're not mean.
I don't think I would fit into the nasty category.
No.
Because everything I say is so ridiculous. You know, it can't possibly be with any aggression.
Yes.
And when you say, you know, that you think of one of the good ones, that really does mean a lot to me, because I think I came around when things started to change for local girls.
Yeah.
And guys and kings and all that stuff. Sorry, I'm very bad with my rhetoric. You know what I mean? Everyone's a girl, everyone's a she, everyone's a this, everyone's a that. I'm a fucking arsehole, all right, I'll deal with it. But before that, Drag Idol and drag in Newcastle had sort of veered towards the old school, the campy style, and Drag Race hadn't really hit us yet. Whereas when I started, everyone was starting to gear up and be excited for these kind of queens that they were seeing on telly. Mm-hmm. That's what people want to see when they go out now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. So that's sort of an ethic that I carry with me, because around that time I didn't think you could really go many places and see drag queens doing anything other than DJing. So I wanted to very quickly make it a staple thing of I'm here and I've got to go, but I'm going to use it. And I don't want to say I'm one of the first, because obviously there's many others before me who've done that. But I'm happy to say that I'm definitely not the last either, because I'm looking at you two little bastards who are doing the same, you know. We're all now seeing that drag has to be more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to turn up and do sweet piss all.
Exactly, yeah. Because
I might. I might. Is that an option that we get? Because if it is, I'm choosing that one.
Darling, I mean, there has to be 1 or 2 times when you turn up for the gig and you press play on the music because you're so hungover, and then you're just on your laptop looking at, you know, whatever you fucking fancy. Sometimes I used to just go on Wikipedia. Do you ever play that game on actual Wikipedia where you got to get from one person to another?
All the time. All the
time. Or Grinder Bingo. That's normally a good one to fill in.
Grinder Bingo.
Grinder Bingo. That's always count.
I like, if the gig's not going very well, I like to take poppers until I can't see, and then about 10 minutes later, I'm like, this is the best gig I've ever done. Best gig I've ever done. Because everyone's watching you just have a breakdown on stage. It's brilliant.
But Gladys, I always tell that story to people about how like amazing you are when Bob and Monet came to Newcastle and their dancers were in the yard and they saw you basically perform the songs that you were DJing and went, oh, so Queens just choose their songs and perform them. And I was like, no, Gladys is not meant to be doing that. People do that. Gladys is the only one that really puts on a song and performs it.
Because people are used to the idea that they don't care. If a Queen's going to turn the music off and say something, people will turn and maybe like, oh, funny joke, on with my night.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just not going to fucking take that day.
Absolutely not.
Do you think
I think it gives it a bit more of an atmosphere as well?
Completely.
Especially when you can't perform and you want to perform. And customers, I think, to a certain point, they don't understand that, because you're DJing, you're on a stage and you've got a microphone. I think they kind of think, well, you're there, so give us something at least.
That's I couldn't agree more, because it's that special thing of being like, sometimes, especially when you're first starting out as well, cutting your teeth on that sort of bar scene or whatever, a lot of the time people will just come and have a look at you to see what you like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they catch you at a bad day, they might never come and see you again. Whereas even if what you're serving is, you know, you at half best, you know, maybe mumbling your way through a song you've done 1,000,000 times and everyone else in the bar seen 1,000,000 times, that one person in the back might go, oh, she actually does things. And I do get people messaging me on Instagram and stuff being like, oh, we come all the way over from Durham because you do this karaoke game, and we came to see you once, we told all our friends and shit like that. And I'm just like, that means something to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you know you've sorted, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
all your hard work's not been for nothing then, has it?
Oh, completely. Because do you get imposter syndrome ever? Yes. Where you start going, I'm no good. I don't know why I get any of my opportunities, or like why nothing's happening, or you know what I mean? Like that happens to me so often at the minute, especially this past year.
Yeah, me, every single time I, like, whether it's an online show or whether it was Drag Idol or anything, right before it starts, I'm literally sat there going, I'm just going to drop out. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Like, I'm just going to make it for myself. And then it ends up being the best thing in the world. So, like, you know, it's just got to be...
Second best thing.
Well, delusion.
Don't say that to Cher Noble.
Oh, why is she going to do the same routine again next time?
Dear, she's ready. Leave her alone. She's ready.
She's got her weight in the bag. Don't worry, Claudia.
Yeah, it's in that house to carry a bag.
Well, it wouldn't be a fucking Tesco one, would it?
Live.
But
she's not going to listen.
I can't remember what we're saying.
About imposter syndrome, Gladys.
Yeah. It's so it stuff sometimes like that is really lovely. Like, for example, I'll just get this little plug in. I've been very lucky to get my first full proper tour offer, which is amazing, with Club Kids with Ms. Cracker in March of this year. It's the end of March, early April. There's loads of different dates. We're not coming to Newcastle, unfortunately. We're going all over the place, like London, Brighton, Birmingham, etc., Sheffield, I think. But that's so exciting. So when I got to post that all over my social media, you know, I was sat at home masturbating, going, I am the best queen in the world. And you know, getting all the messages being like, so excited, amazing, oh my God. But then, you know, literally less than a day later, I'll be sat thinking, you've never done anything. You've dreamed it all. You're sat at home now, watching Black Mirror in your pants, eating a share-sized bag of Doritos to yourself. No one ever shares them. And scratching your knackers. And you just think to yourself, God, I'm absolutely nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. And sometimes, you know, just a little chat like this or a little scroll on your Instagram can make you feel 10 times better. Or 10 times worse if you look at Theresa May's stuff. I hate you.
Who's that? I don't know her.
I've never heard of myself personally.
But the theme of this episode that I really want to touch on is like children in drag and little baby queens.
You want to touch children?
No!
You want to touch on children?
Basically, 15-year-olds that put on a wig, because you did that whole thing of like drag story time, and that was really, really cool and really, really fun. You did it a few times, didn't you?
I did. We did. So with Curious, a wonderful queer arts festival that happens annually, led by the gorgeous Phil Douglas. We do. He approached me shortly after I won Drag Idol. I'd met him through university when I was studying a master's in theatre, and he approached me after I won Drag Idol because he was there that night to talk about that sort of stuff. And he said that he wanted to put together a drag sort of story time show, or because it's a very popular thing. You see it in the news sometimes, especially in like America or Australia, where these right-wing parents kicking off because some drag queen has read them children a story about saying please and thank you. And he wanted to kick something off like that, a bit like Fantabulosa from Birmingham, which is brilliant, by the way. If you've never looked into Fantabulosa, have a look at that. It features the lovely Ginny Lemon, who's currently in Drag Race herself, and Donna Trump, and many other names who I can't remember off the top of my lady's furry hat. But he approached me and basically said that he wanted to do something like that. And it was meant to be a bit more of a theatre show, less of a sort of draggy show. And we got Jen in to play Ben, my drag grandson. And it was, the show itself was less about us as drag. Like, for example, the persona I play was worlds away from the persona I play when I'm just casual Gladys Duffy in the bar having Claudia shout, "Do you want wanking off me bum?" That kind of thing. And I think that sometimes is where some story times will get in trouble, when the parents discover all this over 18 content of a certain queen or king, and then apply that to the fact that that person's just read the child a story, but they're forgetting themselves that they are an adult and they hang out with children all the time, but they also then will go home and have sex. They do and swear, do all that bad stuff. But the good thing is the children aren't seeing it. That's the point. So yeah, it was a wonderful show about inclusivity, about gender norms, defying gender norms, and family and love and that sort of thing. And it was a wonderful thing to be a part of, because it reminded me of the fact that I'm not just this. Because if I was just this, God, can you imagine if you got struck by lightning tomorrow and you were stuck in your drag character for the rest of your life?
Oh God, imagine that. I'd be forced to be a fat slut forever.
What do you mean forced?
It would be against my will, Gladys.
A choice, bitch, you do it. But what was I fucking saying? Basically, yeah, so it was less so about younger people doing drag, but not that there's I think that's wonderful. In a way, I sometimes think about this. Do you ever look back at your childhood and think, God, I was doing drag when I was young? Yeah. Because when I first watched things like the RuPaul's, and you get the queens being like, when I was 12, I would try on my mum's heels, and I just, and all this stuff, and I was thinking, God, I've never done that. God, no tar. But when I was about 7, this is a little funny story. It's kind of related, but it's not.
It just reminded,
like that awkward cousin at the wedding, like that cousin at the wedding, kind of related, but not.
Yeah. So my sister will have been about 7, so I'll have been about 5, and she was going to be a bridesmaid, and she had this gorgeous silk, mint pistachio bridesmaid's dress, little puffball sleeves. It was trimmed, and it was all like little stripes and little flowers on. And I said, "Oh, Mum, can I put Sarah's bridesmaid's dress on?" And she said, "No, I wasn't allowed." So I went to the toilet for a poo. I got hold of the belt from the bridesmaid's dress, fully like wiped my ass on this belt, and then tied it back round the bridesmaid's dress. That's what she gets for not letting me wear a dress.
I was just about to take the piss and say, "Oh, did you get the toilet?" and then wee on it. That thinking the story was going to be that you tried it on.
No, I fully like wiped my ass on it, and then I can always remember what time of year it was because it was Easter about 3 weeks later, and we had an Easter bonnet parade at school, and I was allowed to go in as full Carmen Miranda plastic. I had a dress on and everything then.
Because they were worried you'd wipe your ass on someone else.
Yeah, she was like, just let him. If he wants to wear a dress for Easter bonnet competition, just let him.
That is incredible. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you did sort of do drag when you were younger?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I used to go to a theatre sort of club group thing. Actually, it was with your friend Frida. Do you remember Alicia?
Yes, I was going to tell that story about how I got to know you.
Well, have you ever spoken to Alicia about Gladys?
Yes. Well, this is what. So, Alicia messaged me and said,
"Is it Alicia?"
Yeah.
Oh, great, brilliant. Haven't seen her in years, too.
Alicia messaged. So this is how I got to know about the wonderful Gladys Duffy. Alicia messaged me. This was literally just before you started Drag Idol. Said, "Oh, I've got a friend called Nate. I've got a friend called Greg."
Dear. I don't give a flying fuck. Say my name, my address, my national insurance number, and see what fucking happens.
I've got a friend called Nathan who does drag, and I know how much you love drag queens because I was watching Drag Race at the time. She was like, "Oh, I know how much you like drag queens, and so Nathan's doing a competition called Drag Idol in Newcastle. It's a really big deal. Everyone's really proud of him, whatever. Do you want to check him out, like support him and whatever?" And I was like, yeah, that's fine, sure, why not? Went onto your Instagram. One of the very first photos I've seen of you is you pole dancing with the lamppost.
Oh yeah, that was the photo shoot I did. I did that photo shoot just before week 1 of Drag Idol because I was just like, God, people don't know who I am. I've got to do something, and I've kept those on my Instagram because I want people to,
That was
remember.
the very first photo I ever saw of you, and was like, okay. Lovely. This is and then I watched you on Drag Idol and then saw you at the Banji show, took a video of your performance, sent it to Alicia, and then rest is history.
So, I mean, you should probably speak to Alicia again because at that drama club that we went to together, I did Gladys. And she was known as Gladys every week. The thing is, you'd go in, we'd do a little warm-up game, everyone would have their fucking juice or their snack or whatever. And then we'd be given a task for the week, and it would be like, make a scene about this, or the theme of this, or right, we're going to do a duet, so do this or whatever. And I always worked with the same little group of friends, and we did every other week. We'd do something different every other week, and then every other week it was Gladys, and it would be the story of Gladys. And she was just this nasty old woman, and every time she'd come into the scene, everyone in the drama club would just like howl and clap and shit. And I would do the voice. I would do this voice. And be like, "Oh, little," but she was a bit more like just like a nana back then. Yeah. And it's only really when you really think about shit like that you go, because in a way that is drag. I wasn't dressed up. I wasn't doing all this side, but the character and the wit and the sort of the performance style was completely there.
Yeah.
So it's mental, really, when you think about the fact that I did drag when I was about 12.
Yeah.
And she's carried through to here today. So it's madness.
And then here she is. Do you feel like you've picked up? Do you feel like from different stages of your life you've picked up different skills and techniques that you've needed to fully embody Gladys?
Completely, because I mean, drag is what's wonderful about it is it's the intersection of a million different fucking things, and you don't have to do all of them. Some people really do choose to be like beautiful, and so therefore they care more about fashion. Some people really choose to be really funny, so they care more about performance style, shit like that. There definitely is makeup. That's the most recent thing to improve upon. Like that came last. Something I never thought I'd ever care about. Or even like being able to perform, to dance. I was never really a dancer when I was studying theatre and that. It was all about acting and comedy. But now, from being the faggot at the back of Powerhouse who's awkwardly dancing, trying to look sexy so someone will come finger his bum. Now, somehow, bizarrely, I feel like I'm a really good dancer when I'm on stage. You know what I mean? Because you've got the rhythm and you're a drag queen. And it's drag queens dance a certain style anyway, don't they? No, unless you're Layla fucking Sphinx or what's that one in Schnobbly? Yeah, it's very that, fucking that kind of shit. But no, it is. It's definitely started as a baby. Now I'm all grown up. Hallelujah.
And do you think, because you mentioned about drama and things, and I was a drama kid, did you, like, I don't know about Claudia, but do you think that...
Claudia was a fucking drama kid, just a different type. Wife and shite and bridesmaids dresses.
No. I was in a theatre group, and I was also on Classical FM when I was 13.
Dylan! Why?
Yeah. I sang Carmina Burana for World Music Day in Newcastle Auditorium.
Oh my God!
I was alto soprano, and we sang Opal Tuna. And I was also Pontius Pilate in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, look at that!
And I was a shepherd. I was a shepherd in the Nativity.
That is so camp. I can't believe that.
Isn't it?
We are learning.
Like,
fucking hell.
Well, that's what's wonderful. Is like we all clearly had these fucking things that we were good at when we were young.
Yeah.
Which we've somehow pulled into all this bullshit.
Do you not think having some kind of like drama degree, or not drama degree, but like drama experience is really helpful with doing drag?
Now, I said this when you can go back to the fucking tape if you want. I said this when I judged Drag Idol, and Miss Rory didn't like it, and she was very nasty to me.
That's all.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, have we got adverts?
We're back.
Gorgeous.
Hello.
I hope you enjoyed the little break. I had a little breakdown. No, we are back. We were talking about
Fucking dick. No, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were. Because I made this comment during Drag Idol. I said something along the lines of, basically, I knew Dick was going to do well because he comes from a performance background like me.
Yeah.
And anyone who does have that. Oh, here she is.
Oh, here she is.
Hiya.
Hiya.
I was just changing my tampon.
Oh, and she's gone again. Now she's back. No, and she's gone. And she's back. No, basically, anyone that's had a university education in theatre,
yes,
will know the basics of how to entertain a crowd.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that in a derogatory way that anyone that hasn't doesn't know how to do that. But traditionally, in a competition like Drag Idol Newcastle, you get a young gay person going out on stage with no experience, no knowledge, just because they fancy giving it a go. And that sometimes was the joy of it, was watching people who were new and fresh and unrehearsed, giving it a go and learning. That's what it used to be. Yeah, literally. Like
Mary LeBoot. She was the same, wasn't she? Except she was about 45,000 years old, wasn't she?
But so yes, I think having a theatre background completely puts you at least a couple of steps ahead of other people.
Yeah.
Because you have that sort of skill. And I think Miss Rory got a bit upset about what I said, and I actually got a bit upset because I felt like she was being nasty to me. Because I mean, if Rory's nasty to you, literally the ground opens up and you kind of want to die. But she said something along the lines of, there are people who want to do drag who shouldn't necessarily do drag.
Yes.
And that is I mean, give or take, that's kind of what I said. You know what I mean? Because if you haven't got the heart to do those skills or develop those skills, to be able to talk to people, to be funny, to be on a stage, to not shit your knickers at the sight of bright lights in your face, then why are you doing it? So yeah, no, theatre completely helps. And be it Claudia, you know, singing in Newcastle fucking City Hall, or you and I going to drama club twice a week when we were fucking 12. It's all contributed, and you realise that a lot of the time that you think was wasted running around playing The Sun Shines On or Fruit Salad at drama club wasn't wasted because you've actually managed to gain something from it here.
Yeah. But you've also got people like Anamorphic, who had never performed in her life, was just like, oh, I'm just going to do it and see what happens, and then ends up winning and ends up becoming.
Well, I think that's very reflective of how drag culture has changed. Anamorphic would have been a young queer person going out on the scene, seeing all these amazing drag queens springing up around her and thinking, I just fancy giving that a go.
Yeah.
And learned as she went. And that is still an amazing way to do these things. Like Tesco, she learned as she went.
Yeah.
She was helped a lot, but she learned as she went. And that's what it's about. So fair play. Anyone can do drag. All I'm saying is, if you've had that little bit of prep beforehand, it's not going to do you any detriment.
No, I 100% agree. I think, genuinely from my experience, I think if you've had some kind of performance background, then it's not a lot easier, but you find it a lot easier to perform to a crowd, and you find it a lot easier to learn how to entertain people.
Yeah, because it's because it isn't completely alien to you, is it? Regardless of how long you've been out of that world, and
exactly, yeah.
It's like a duck to water, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what we got into it for.
Yeah.
And it's like, and once you do that, it's like you're like a smackhead and you just want more.
Yeah,
literally. And like that kind of relates to what I said earlier about the whole thing of like attention and praise for artists, or like for people like us who we were talking about young people who want to do drag, or young people doing drag, and more young people are going straight into drag and learning these skills when they're younger because they want to do drag specifically. Whereas I feel like we might be some of the last generations who've stumbled into it, because these skills you're picking up, you know, be it singing lessons or whatever, sometimes the industries that you originally are going to go down are incredibly difficult and not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You know, say you want to be an actor. I wanted to be an actor. I formed a comedy troupe. We were doing improv sketch shows and shit like that. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But it's such a hard industry to break into.
Yeah.
Whereas drag is you. It's all you here.
Yeah.
You know, and the only thing you need is a silver opportunity, something like Drag Idol, something like going to one of the bars and saying, hiya, can I do this? Yeah. That's where I think a lot of artists end up in drag, because they take the power into their hands instead of waiting for auditions or waiting for someone to give them that chance to do this, to do that.
Yeah.
It's about you, and you put in as much or as little as you want. For example, I haven't put on a face or a dress or a wig or anything in about a month, and that's down to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. And when the time comes for me to put my slap on, make some content, or go and do a gig, or go and do this, or go and do that, that's down to me. I don't have to run to somebody else to get that approval.
That's the thing. That's why I kind of started drag, was because I was like, oh, I really want to do shows. I really want to perform. I really want to do all this character work and wear really nice costumes and wear wigs and everything and all that jazz. And I was like, there's no way that I can really do that. Oh. There was
how unprofessional.
What was I saying? Yeah, there's no way that I can really do that. And then drag is really just sort of that avenue of like, you are a costume designer, you're a wig stylist, you're a makeup artist, you are a show producer, you are the show.
You're a gobshite.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And I think that's what's amazing about drag. Cheers to that.
Cheers, sweetie. Cheers. Like when you think about it as well, I can't remember what I was going to say now. I had a really good point. You're saying, you know, that's why you got into drag and stuff like that, and talking about some of my friends who I did theatre with at university, who, you got to remember, when you're at university and you're doing something like theatre or college or at GCSE level or whatever, even if it was just like the local village play in the back of a barn and you're doing fucking Blood Brothers, because there's nothing gayer than cutting open and staring blood. Get tested. Oh, maybe don't leave that in. You know, I have friends who I went to university with, and they love performing. When you're at university, you perform 4 or 5 times a week. You know, do a little show back, or you're writing something to perform at the end of that week, or you're reviewing a show, or you're constantly surrounded by theatre. When you finish a degree like that, you don't perform. I have friends who have performed maybe 4 or 5 times in the last 4 or 5 years, whereas doing drag has led me to perform 4 or 5 times a week for the last 4 or 5 years. Which, it's like exercising a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger that fucking arm's gonna get, girl. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the same with Claudia. I know you from what's it fucking called? Not Manhattan's. Sapphires in the Middlesbroughs. Like, once you got that job there, did you not feel like you were flexing that muscle every fucking time you went in for a shift?
Yeah, like I went from doing drag once, and then I was doing, it was like, right, you've got a job, you are working 7 nights a week, and it was amazing.
But you get better and better and better because you are working that muscle out. Like, and that's what I think. Not to bring it to the pandemic, I don't know if you want this fucking this podcast, everything's about COVID. I don't know if you want us to be about that, but I worry for a lot of entertainers like us, well, like me, no, a lot of entertainers that after this long break, how much some of us are going to struggle, because it is a muscle, and mine's seizing up here because not everyone is good at this camera stuff. I'm not good. I don't personally think I'm good at this. Well, I was very good whenever I've done my bits on telly. You know, I'm good at telly.
You did a very good job. Show.
Yeah, but I also somehow felt like I had an audience. I love an audience. That is what makes the world go round for me. Is being in front of people, being in front of another person, and seeing that person even crack a smile just because you said the word fart or shimmy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Anyway,
that beats that, really, an audience. And
so I don't know how much that relates to the theme of children, but I've said so much, haven't I?
I had a theme, and then with you know what? Just go with the flow. But
we can still talk more about children if you want. I'm not asked.
No, but I just wanted to get your opinion, really, because like we are seeing more and more children sort of start drag while they're in school and like wanting to put on little shows. But obviously, drag at its roots started it as a really gritty, like almost like what's that word?
It was like an under the counter illegal kind of thing, wasn't it? It was
rebellion. It was rebellion.
Behind closed doors and done in secret, wasn't it?
Yeah, very pornographic sort of.
Yeah,
queer people had a fascination with icons in celebrity, and a lot of them at the time were female celebrities. And to gather together to worship these people, they thought, well, let's just put someone on. It's almost like impersonation, that, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like we're sort of seeing that again with these 14, 15-year-olds who are still in school. But now, instead of worshipping Britney Spears or you know, your older ones like your Diana Rosses and your Aretha Franklins and your you know, that kind of, or Dolly Parton, now they're looking to the RuPaul girls, to the Ru girls. And the other big ones, you know, you've got your Juno Birches, your Victoria Scone, your stuff like that. So that's who they're looking up to, and that's who they're sort of replicating or want to aspire to be, which I think is wonderful. I mean, it's the same as any drag artist starting out. You know, they'll make an Instagram, and no matter what, the first few months are going to be shit. The sooner we all learn that and admit that, and when people are asking for advice, That's the first thing I'm going to start saying, because you need to be aware.
Yeah.
If you act for the first 3 months like you are fucking made of gold, everyone will despise you. Because you're not. Even if you've got the most gorgeous look on the planet, and you're posting amazing Instagram pictures, or you're performing these amazing dance routines, there is still a million things you need to improve on.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That comes in time. And the fact that they are learning to do it younger and younger and younger is brilliant. I mean, look at fucking Drag Race. Aquaria, she went on when she was 21. She fucking smashed it and she won it.
And she started when she was 15.
She started when she was 15.
Yeah.
So there is an amazing possibility here that the next generation of drag queens and drag kings and drag artists and the next generation of drag celebrity or drag royalty are out there somewhere right now in their bedrooms with their parents downstairs cooking them a lasagna.
Exactly.
Yeah, sat there with a groovy chick fucking bedding on.
Exactly. Watching Peppa Pig. Watching fucking Peppa Pig. But I don't know. I've got a question. If you let's say all of a sudden we get struck by lightning again, twice in one day, never. Let's say you get struck by lightning and all of a sudden you are 15, but now you're 15 now, and all this is going on around you. Do you feel like you'd gravitate towards it, or do you feel like you'd go on the exact same path you went on, down being something else, and then you've fallen into this hole?
I think I would start this earlier. I would have got into it earlier, definitely. Only because everything was still there. It was I was kind of forced into it, really. It was just, right, I'm opening a show, and Mark, you're opening it for me. You can do Kylie Minogue. Don't ring me till then. And I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know, because
you really had to learn on the job. So you're saying that this extra experience or the extra practice from the age of 15 would have really fucking helped you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't know, when I was younger, I was obsessed with wigs and costumes and all that jazz. Like, I was obsessed with, like, because I grew up with, like, Dolly Parton and Freddie Mercury and, like, big queer, like, gay people with full-on costumes, Elton John. Like, that was the people that I sort of aspired to, like, be, like, in performance-wise. Mm-hmm. And so my whole, like, thing of performance, my whole, like, idea of performance was always just big costumes, big wigs, feather boas, all that jazz. I don't know if I would have started it, or if I would have just, like, maybe, because I don't know, like, as a young person, you can't really spend that much money. Drag is very expensive. It's a loss. It's really the only art form that's a loss at first. And so I don't know if I would have started it to the point where I'd buy wigs and costumes straight off the bat, or if I would have just admired it, got all my skills together into a little book, and then waited until I was old enough to go perform. You've got these now. Bless them. Some of these amazing. I've met them at the Club Kids shows, or I meet them just on Instagram from them following me. And whenever I post, sometimes they'll pop a little message through. These amazing young people who are so enthusiastic and in love with this art form of drag. Is it Veronica McDonald? I called her Veronica McDonald, but I feel like she's called like Monica Monroe or something. She's lovely, really lovely. She was one of the ones that I met at the Bob and Monet show when I was doing my own little meet and greet. She messages me all the time to ask whenever I post an event about Billy's Girls or about or about viewing parties or about the yard or about etc. Basically a drag show. Whenever I post, she's just like, is it possible for under 18s to come? And it's so unfortunate that it's not. And the problem is, we could do an amazing event for under 18s, but it's just the right location, because we all know people love to appreciate drag with an alcoholic beverage in their hand, so therefore a bit of an issue. But these are things that could be conquered, and we have to know if there's enough interest to actually make this a proper viable event to give these people something that they will really love and deserve. We don't want to put on some half-shoddy show in a library, you know. I mean, no, I'm not talking about Curious, because that was a great show. That was for younger children. But if you take a bunch of, if you took us three to a library today to do a show for a bunch of under 18s,
think of the sound system, the lights, the kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to create that vibe and that feel that they want, because the drag that they want to see is the kind of drag that's in a bar.
Yeah.
So I think the scope is there for it. It's a difficult one in much bigger cities or more cosmopolitan cities, such as down south, maybe London. I imagine that they can get away with that sort of thing, because there is such an look at RuPaul's DragCon.
Yeah.
Drag World before that, the amount of young people you see walking around them with wigs on their heads, and that sometimes their costumes and their wigs. When I first went, there was children there who looked a million times better than me. And I was like, you are amazing. Well done, don't give up. But they were obsessed with me, obviously, because I'm very famous. God, well, I used to be. God, what a life now, sat in my living room.
We talked about this with Ivy, in that, like, drag people, especially drag idol people, because drag idol is sort of, not famous, but, like, very well known across the country. Drag people do have this weird sort of level of fame, in the sense that
completely.
you walk into a bar or walk at a Club Kids show and everyone's lined up to meet you and everyone wants to know your name, but like as soon as you're walking through a Tesco, everyone's like, no clue.
Who's this bitch? There are many sort of bigger, more well-known names around the UK than us who, given the opportunity, would come running up to you two and say, oh my God, you're Claudia Gabor, you're Frida Sapphic, you're from Drag Idol 2020, blah, 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 blah. Because the first time I went to Drag World with Club Kids, I think it was Charmaine Diamond White. God, I love her, from Novimpia.
Hilarious.
He tagged me in her story a few times.
So funny. She came running up to me and went, oh my God, you're Gladys Duffy. And obviously I'm a massive fan of Novimpia, and I went up and I went, oh my God, you're Charmaine Diamond White. And I was like, oh my God, so I am. Lauren Shaney, who's currently on Drag Race, she came up to me and went, you're Gladys Duffy. And I went, oh my God, you're Lauren Shaney. What the fuck? Why do you know who I am? She went, I love Drag Idol. And I was like, what? Like, it's crazy. So, young queens all the time from the Northeast are always saying, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I don't care if you don't want to do it. Do Drag Idol because it will train you.
Yes.
It will prepare you for the worst. It gives you your ups. It gives you the praise you want. It gives you your downs, because people will be nasty to you.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a platform to actually go in at an entry level in a bar or in a club or in wherever. And yes, maybe not everyone wants to work in a club. Teresa, you know what I mean? She's doing amazing things without ever really stepping foot into a bar. But it gives you those skills, and it'll give you that sort of slightly higher name in the national regard. But no, so it's lovely. But actually, I don't know how much long you've got left. I want to ask you a question. How long do you feel? How long? Fuck me. How do you feel about the constant, almost need to produce, especially now? The Instagram, to me, if I could, I would delete it tomorrow.
I don't worry about it, to be honest.
I need to learn to not worry about it, because for the longest time I didn't give a fuck, and then I've recently started giving a fuck because it's the only thing I've got to do.
Yeah.
But this feeling that everyone has access to you, or if you're not producing, or if you're not giving them something, that they're gonna forget or not be asked about you anymore, or you're less good than X, Y, and Z because they post or they post or they post. You know what I mean?
It's a very toxic thing to get involved with, and I'm going to talk about it in our social media episode that me and Chloe are going to do. And
sorry, I'm stealing other themes now.
No, as well. But basically,
it's just a link, isn't it? It's a link.
It's a link. But basically, I'm very lucky in the sense that I'm not intimidated by the fashion queens and the Sacha Velour and all those people that are constantly producing out really artistic looks 24/7. That's not me. That's not what I want to do. I didn't start drag to be a look queen. I started drag to and so that's why I'm producing shows more often rather than looks. And then it just so happens that I have to get into a look to do a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try not let Instagram worry me. If I have something to post, if I have an idea, I'll post it. But if I don't post for a few months, then that's just life. Look at Anna. Anna Morphic doesn't post ever.
True.
See, though, what I would argue, Anna Morphic is Anamorphic is one of the most sensational performers I've ever seen. She is the best lip syncer in our city, hands down. She's one of the best winners of Drag Idol, and if you ever have the chance to actually go and see her when she's working, our fucking DJing skills and her hosting skills are fucking top notch. She's amazing. Anna
performed the very first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, did you just say? Oh my god, guys, did you just say that?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, we've saw the same number like 5 times." And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Anna." Yeah.
But like, there are people who seem to be wanting to climb, and those who are, so I don't want to say settled, but like, for example, everyone in the Zoom call right now, I assume, is a climber. We all want to have our shows and our content reach much further distances, you know, or get on that show, or just to tour a cabaret show around the region or around the country, or to write something, or to produce something, or to, you know what I mean? We all want to raise that bar constantly. Anna does that for herself. She'll produce a new look and then go to a club gig, do it, and be like, bye, see you later, gorgeous, amazing, brilliant, and beautiful. So little to no Instagram sort of presence, I don't think really affects her that much, because she's happy. She's like, I'm really good at this. I love this. I'm smashing it. I'm amazing. I'm happy with it. Whereas I feel like we want to go up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that toxic thing of I want to go up and do more and be better and do all this, but I also really hate this obligation to like, it's one of the banes of my life. I won't lie to you. The thought that that's where the imposter syndrome comes from, I think. Do you know what I mean?
This is like a Gladys.
I can totally see that, because, like you say, because especially when you're on social media and things like Instagram, and it sees people like these younger ones, and they've sat in their bedroom and they've learned how to do winged eyeliner for 6 months, and then they're going to start on their eyeshadow. Do you know? And you think, it's like, okay, and it's like, right, you've never stepped out of that. You've never stepped out of that bedroom. I look like Heather fucking Trott on stage. And then you get these newbies who've never been out, and they're like absolutely shit all over the rest of us. And it's like, no, I'm gonna fucking beat you up, bitch.
Completely. That's sometimes how it feels. And do you know what it is? I keep trying to say to myself, drag is not a hierarchy. There's nothing to climb. No one's higher or lower than each other. And I'm learning that. But sometimes it's really difficult, especially when you open up the Instagrams and you see, for example, your drag mother Gucci, gorgeous photo shoots, popping on the outfits, new stuff, bit of this, bit of that, amazing. And I just go, well, I have to get a new look now. And then I'll go on AliExpress and I've ordered this thing. I've had 3 outfits come and none of them fucking fit me, because they're all from China and they're all tiny over there. Fuming. So that's the other pressure as well. New outfits, new wigs. Whereas I view myself as more like, do you know Steve Coogan, who does Alan Partridge? Yeah, I feel like I'm more like that, or like Keith Lemon. I'm a bit of a character. Like, I'm always going to look a certain sort of way.
Like a Coco Peru, sort of same wig, same silhouette. Just
Coco Peru, your Lady Bunnies. God, compare myself to legends. Or like, even in a way, Ginny Lemon, who's doing the Drag Race. She's always going to look like that.
Yeah. So then stop like thinking that you're going to have to keep looking like the fashion queens and just stick with Gladys.
Yeah, dear, no, I don't know, dear, but it's just hard, dear, isn't it, dear? You just want to do something different all the time, don't you?
I am sad because we are running out of time, but Gladys.
Oh, shit on it.
We do have a few questions to ask. Because this is Dragopedia and all that jazz. Is there a big bit of advice that you could give to queens? I mean, you've already kind of mentioned it, but is there a big bit of advice you could give to queens and queens starting out?
Like I said earlier, for the first 3 months, if you are just beginning, you will be crap. You will be crap. You may have some skills, you may be good at this, you may be good at that. I was very good at entertaining, very good, but I looked absolutely shocking for about a year. So remember, not everything's going to fall into place straight away. That's number 1. Advice number 2, learn to know that other people's opinions don't always matter. I'm still learning that one myself. So don't worry about, if you're not the most liked person on your scene or on your Instagram or in your group of drag friends, or if you know what I mean, if someone else is constantly getting praise, don't worry, they'll praise you for something different.
Yeah.
And final piece of advice number 3, wash your tights, because for the first 6 months I didn't, and I was walking around stinking like Stilton. Nasty.
And what's your favourite drag trend and your least favourite drag trend?
Oh, okay. Favourite drag trend? Pussycat wigs, small wigs, short wigs. Lace fronts are such a fucking faff on.
I know, right?
Is that a lace front, Claudia, or is it?
Of course it is.
Oh, gorgeous. It's so much effort. Do you know what it is? When I'm performing the night away, the last thing I want to be worrying about is, am I ruining this hair that I've spent 300 quid on? I don't want to think about that. I want to think about, is everyone having a good time?
Just wear
a favourite trend. You are?
Just wear a beanie.
Well, she is too.
The fucking hair.
And it looks like it. But yeah, so favourite drag trend, short wigs. Least favourite drag trend. Instagram.
Mint. Aye. And who's your queen or king of the week?
Oh, okay. Oh, didn't know I'd have to do this. Let me have a little thinky poo.
I know, I should have.
Queen or king of the week. Can I do both? Can I do one of each?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. King of the week. Foking Dick, obviously. Local legend, old adversary, new friend, and talent in abundance.
Another person's been a few times on this podcast as well, yeah.
You what, sorry, who? Foking?
Yeah, we've mentioned him a few times.
Oh, Dicky Boo. Oh, good. He's a sweetheart, really. He's an arsehole. He's a sweetheart. And Queen of the Week. Oh, who should we go for? Who do I really love with all my little dick? Danny Delonco. Danny Delonco is a fucking phenomenal talent in the body of Violet Beauregard when she starts to swell up.
You were a fan of Danny Delonco on Plot, weren't you, before you did drag?
I was. Danny Delonco is another one, actually, a bit like Anamorphic, who doesn't have any internet presence, really, especially on the Instagrams. But if you've ever managed to see them live, oh my God, like, it is the most devil's incarnate. What the fuck is going on? But hilarious. I could sit and watch her forever. I mean, she used to steal up some of my jokes and my numbers, and that pissed me off. But you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. She's fucking brilliant. So yeah, so Foking Dick, Danny Delonco, and me. Follow me on Instagram, you fucking... No, don't, because we don't care about Instagram. In fact, everyone listening, go in and follow me right now.
And then go and follow me and Claudia.
Yeah, instead.
Anything you want to plug before we say goodbye?
This dripping hole. Keep your eye on my Instagram and my YouTubes and maybe my Facebooks, because I'm going to be posting some bits and some bobs, trying to get myself back into drag, even if it's just my own personal joy. And I also want to very quickly pay a very quick mention to the centre of Newcastle's gay scene, The Yard, who's lost its leader this week, our beautiful Adrian Gadd, who was a squat, large man in a tank top, shorts and sliders, who very rarely showed his face, but without whom I wouldn't have a career, who has unfortunately passed away this week. So I'd just like to pay very quick mention to him. And if you can, or if you haven't heard, or if the news is breaking now, it's been over a month, dear, he's in the ground now, dear. But yeah, respects to him. And please, everyone listening, if you're in Newcastle, if you're wherever, go out into your local scene, find those local queens, kings, but also those people who run those establishments are very important and have provided you a space since before you were born. So please be respectful and show some love to those people while you can.
How lovely. What a lovely...
Very well said.
Yeah, very well said.
And also, go fucking mental! Take loads of drugs, drink loads of drink, and suck every fucking cock you see!
And always wipe front to back.
Is that on the bridesmaid's dress?
I can't stress that enough. I say it every week. Just wipe front to back, girls. We together we can stop BV.
Jesus fucking Christ. And support the dolls, like Gladys said, yeah. Support.
Of course, yeah. There's so many of us now. There's someone out there for you. There's your fave out there. Like, listen, I know you love Trixie Mattel. I know you love fucking Katya. I know you love Bianca Del Rio. But let me tell you, there's someone out there in your fucking hometown who's just as talented, just as beautiful, just as funny, who is going to make it there one day or not. And you have to find them and worship them. Lick their feet. Offer to wipe their ass front to back.
Yeah.
Spat on me tits. I need to go with that one instead.
Thank you very much, Gladys. This was really wonderful, and I love you very much. And I can't wait for the bars to reopen and to give you a big fat snog.
And I think you're all right.
Well, before we go, Claudia, do you want wanking off with me, bum?
Yes, please.
Yeah, no, love you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been actually lovely. It's been a bit like therapy, actually, getting to speak out loud in this voice, at least.
Good.
Can I do me plug? Can I do me goodbye?
Yes, of course you can. Yeah.
Go on, then.
I've been glad of stuffy. You've had enough eater. Fuck off. See you later. Frida's aim pet.
Mint. Fab. Thank you very much, Gladys. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, love.
And this has been Dragopedia with Frida and Claudia.